a lot of college majors you need experience versus degrees for, which is the craziest thing.
Right. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Paid in Full Almost podcast. I'm your host, Tay or Taylor, but you already knew that. And today we have another special guest, Breana Hampton. Welcome to the podcast. Hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Breana, Ayo_melanin on all types of socials. Make sure you guys follow me. Yes. I am a full-time social media manager, full-time content creator, part-time attorney, and part-time plant mom. So yeah, I have a lot going on and I'm excited to be here today.
Yes, and she skates. No, you forgot. Roller skating. I've been seeing everybody on my feed rollerblading. I said, okay, maybe I need to go out here and get skates.
You definitely do. I actually also own a skate shop as well. I just have a lot going on. I do a little bit of everything.
At this point, that's the best way to be. It's the best.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we get into questions, I'm starting this new thing where we're going to do speed round with the quick questions. So it's either this or that. Which one you prefer? Okay, you ready?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, stay in or go out?
Stay in.
Ooh, okay. Passive income or work for your money?
Ooh, both this and that. Passive income.
Passive, okay. Be an attorney or a digital creator, like a content creator?
Digital creator.
All right, going skating or watching over the plants?
Ooh, I'll go skating. The plants can watch themselves.
Okay, solo trip or vacation? Or if you don't have a bae, then we could do solo trip or girl trip.
I'm gonna go with a group trip, a vacation, whatever.
Okay, whatever that. Okay. There you go. Okay, you do that. All right. I was surprised you said you're a staying in type of girl. You like the movies.
I'm an introvert, 100%. Like, I have the worst social anxiety. This is perfect because you're not in my house. But if you were to stand next to me, I'd be like, I don't know what to say, Taylor. Like, this is amazing for me. So I'm definitely the definition of a Cancer. I'm an introvert, 100%.
Oh man, it happens. Some people are like, it's like, I want to talk to you, but it's like, I don't want to make it awkward. And then you have those people that talk and you're like, bro, you're being mad awkward. Like, what are you even saying to me right now?
See, that's what I think I am. I think when I speak to people face to face, they're like, who is this awkward, crazy girl?
No. And then passive income before we get into questions, do you have passive income? Why you said passive income over work for your money?
I actually just started another Etsy store. So I have two. And one of them, I sell digital products like digital planners and things like that you could use on your iPad. And I love waking up and somebody saying like that ding when you get a sale and you didn't do anything and you don't have to do anything after that. I love it. I need more of it. Keep it coming.
It's giving me make money in my sleep.
Exactly. That's what I like. And I love to sleep. I love to make money. So when they do the same thing at the same time, yes, I'm in heaven.
Chef's kiss. Like, okay, so let's get into the questions. Okay, right. So how did we get from attorney, digital creator, social media manager, skate play? Like, how did we move towards these avenues? Walk us through this.
Okay, so it's what is this? 2019? The pandemic just started.
2020.
Okay,
the years be running together. I just don't even know.
That's another problem. The pandemic has me confused with the years. Okay, so the pandemic just started, and this is when I had freshly graduated from law school, and I was looking for a job. So I was contacting a lot of law firms, and I had worked for law firms before, but as the pandemic was starting, they were kind of demanding more for less. And I had one offer that was very surprising. He was like, I need you here for about 50 hours a week. You're going to get paid around $16 an hour. and you're going to need to be okay with this until the end of the pandemic. And this is when we didn't even know when the end of the pandemic was. And so I had to talk to myself and realize, like, do I want to work this hard for this little? And I don't. And I prayed and I meditated and I was like asking the universe to send me a sign of where I need to be. And something just told me, do not accept this offer. So I did not accept the offer. The next day, I actually had a call from a small business asking me if I could help run their social media pages. And I was like, well, I don't have a job. I just graduated from law school. I might as well do this until I find something that's worth it. Keep in mind, they were going to pay me more than I got offered at the law firm.
And see, I would have been like, he got me at the 50-hour work week and then want to hit me with the 16. Like, I could work at McDonald's.
That part. That part with a lot less stress and not dealing with somebody's entire lifestyle.
Right.
So it was that. So I started working for that business. And it was a blessing and a curse. I hated working for that business, but it gave me exposure to start working with a bunch of other small businesses. So once me and that original business split our ways, I contacted all my contacts that I had from that relationship. And 3 or 4 different small businesses were like, hey, come do the same thing for us. We'll take you. And once I started making twice as much as what the other guy offered me, the attorney offered me, and I realized I can add more and more on my plate for the same amount of time, and I don't have to work 50 hours a week. I can do this for 20 hours a week. Oh yeah, I went down that avenue of doing social media management. And honestly, I didn't look back. I still have my bar license, so I'm still technically an attorney, but I don't actively practice right now. So I mean, hey, I'm just going with the flow. Wherever the money takes me is where I'll be.
Wherever the money resides, that's where you'll
catch me.
Well, that's very interesting that, first of all, that you would get paid less as an attorney, but how this opportunity came about and you weren't even like expecting it. So
I wasn't.
From your first, because you mentioned that you had issues, you didn't really like working there. Is there something like, what particular didn't you like? Is it something you found out along the way of being a social media manager, or like, what was it?
Yeah, honestly, it was my first job. I didn't know what I was doing. So a lot of it was on me. They wanted somebody who was experienced and I was not experienced, but I learned the ways and I realized I don't like micromanagers. If you show me an assignment, let me do the assignment, I'm going to get it done. And so it was just a little too much micromanaging for me. But like I said, it was a blessing because that client introduced me to a bunch of clients that I still have now 2 years later. So
Girl. And I feel like with your first job, because I feel like I experienced the same thing with me. I graduated with my bachelor's in 2021. And it's like you get your first job and you kind of feel like, oh, like they gave me an opportunity, like I have to thug it out. And then like in this process, you realize, wait a minute, I don't get paid enough. Like micromanaging, I realized I don't like micromanaging either. Like a lot, that happened a lot at my job. And I was like, wait, back up. Like, don't worry about me. Everything's going to get done. Okay. Exactly. Just let me have my space. So I feel like that's very interesting. And it's like a good tidbit. Like your first job, you will learn a lot, what you don't and what you like and what you don't like.
Yes, and you will.
Move forward. Like you don't have to stay stuck at that job forever. You could just go on to the next.
There's always plenty more.
Yes, people always hiring. Money is out here.
Okay.
So why law? Why law? Like, why did you want to be an attorney? And then now that you're not an attorney, like, do you miss it? Or like, do you plan to do anything with your license?
Great question. Okay, so why? I'm gonna start with the why first. When I was in middle school, my mom, I grew up with a single mom. So she was always like, we got to get it out here. We are women, we are Black women. We need to make sure we are on top. What do you want to do? So my mom started asking me, what do you want to do for a living when I was in middle school? And all throughout high school, I was researching. She was like, you got to have something by junior year. And I looked up and I was like, what are Black women doing? Or what are they not doing? Trying to find my type, my thing, my niche. And I realized there was only, at that time, 3% of Black women were attorneys. And I'm one of those people where it's like, when the statistic is that low, I need to be a part of it. I need to be a part of making this change. And so I set my sights on law school and I was like, I'm very logical. I know I can do this. I know it's a lot of time, it's a lot of money, but I'm a hustler. I'm going to get this. And so that's what pushed me, and it pushed me all the way through college. It pushed me after college to sit down for the LSAT. It pushed me through law school to then sit for the bar, pass the bar on the very first try, which is super rare. And yeah, that was the determination, was the fact that not a lot of Black women were doing it. That was my sole determination for doing this. And so, yeah, once I graduated law school, I did intern for a couple places. I did do juvenile law, where I helped a lot of kids and their families in that. And then I did sports and entertainment law. I studied abroad in London and studied like the sports and entertainment on that side in the UK. And I loved it. I genuinely loved it.
Yeah, I studied abroad in London for like 3 months too. So
Oh yeah, I did it for 3 months too.
Yes, we are here.
So yeah, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And getting into that space was super competitive. And I'm one of those people, I don't mind competing, but if there's something else that's going to pay me more and it's going to fall into my lap, I feel like it's destiny at that point. So would I do sports and entertainment contracts again? Definitely. If anybody wants to come to me, I will review your contracts. I still got it. Will I do juvenile law again? Probably not. That space was a little bit too emotional for me. It pulled on a little bit too many heartstrings for me, but I definitely love the law. It has changed completely. Going to law school has changed the way I think. I'm such a logical thinker now. When I talk to my friends and I'll break something down to A, B, and C, and they're like, no, Breana, we don't need that. We're just trying to have fun, calm down. We don't want that. So yeah, I do love the law. I love being an attorney, but right now I'm just, going with the flow.
True. Do you miss it?
No, because I still have friends and family that hit me up at least twice a week, like, hey, give me your legal advice on this. And I have a bunch of mentors that are in law school right now. So they're always calling me like, hey, so I feel like I'm constantly doing the work without getting paid for it.
It's like, the math is not mathing. I'm still, my senses are still being out here. I'm confused.
Exactly. But I love to talk about it. I'll talk the law all day long.
Well, that's very, I've never heard or saw someone that's into because people that are usually into law, they'll make other avenues or income stream around law, do side things. So it's crazy how you're just doing okay, I still do it, but I'm over here on social media. It's wild to me, especially after going to the bar, the LSAT, because my 4 years of college got me and that was it. I'm not going back. So I don't even know how we got to afterwards, and it's a no for me.
Like I told you, if there's something that not a lot of Black women are doing, I want to set that example to show that little Black girl, hey, you can do it too, girl. I did it.
Right.
Representation matters.
No, it really does. And being in those spaces is how change happens, and seeing our perspective, because it's not always in those spaces or mentioned, or people don't think about things from our point of view. So I do agree, having a representative in those spaces is what we need, honestly. So people be like, oh, you could also, you don't have to be I don't know, a fashion designer. You could also be a lawyer. You could be a doctor. You could do these things if you wanted to. I agree. I mean, even though I went the fashion route, I'm fashion and business. Don't be like me, but go be out here and be a lawyer or something, child.
Listen, fashion and business, look, we can make waves in that industry too. So
yeah, we can make waves because some of the people be tripping. So we can still do what we gotta do. But as far as lawyer, child, you got it. Law school, spill the tea. So how'd you get through it? Would you give us any advice on how you passed the bar your first time, and how you got through LSAT studying? Because I know that's a thing, because people be struggling.
It takes a lot of planning. That's planning and research. Understand what you want to do when you get through law school. A lot of people say, I want to go to law school, I want to be a lawyer. Okay, but what kind? There's a lawyer for everything that you can think of. So if you do your planning and your research ahead of time, every single day gets frustrating, or you're tired, or you don't want to do something, you can then think about what the end goal is. So that's my biggest advice, is do your research, do your planning, and focus on what the end goal is, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You have to get through the LSAT, which is 4 hours. And then you have to go to law school for 3 years. Then you have to take the bar, which is 2 days of 4 hours or 2 days of 8 hours testing. So it's a lot. If you are not a tester or you don't like being tested, law school might not be your thing. But it's 100% worth it. I wouldn't take it back for anything. Even if I'm not practicing right now, I 100% love it because it showed me the dedication and the tenacity that you have to have in order to go after your goals. So that's my number one tip.
That is true. And I mean, for me, I guess for law school it's different, but I have to ask this question, even though it may seem like a dumb question. For
No,
me,
that's not.
like the information I learned in school is kind of useless. Like, I really don't know the information. But for law school, like you gotta know, like after you learn the information, you gotta know the information.
Mm-hmm.
How we doing? How
But
you
here's the thing. It's just like any other schooling. You got a book and then they quiz you on it without the book. But when you go in real life, nobody's taking books away. You have all the resources in the world. So once you get through this testing and once you pass the bar, you don't ever have to like be able to recite the law off the top of your head. It's always okay to say, you know what, I'm not sure. Let me go check my references. You sound way more educated when you say that than coming up some random answer.
Okay. But I was like, now how do they be knowing what to say? Because I be sitting through the classroom and what the teacher said go out of one ear and go out the next. So like how we memorizing?
After hearing it over and over for the next 3 years, you're going to know exactly what to say. You're going to start turning into professors and you're going to start quoting them. You're like, how did I even know that?
What is so we know you're focusing on social media now. So is social media your next, like your main focus right now? Like what are you working on and what has all your attention now?
Right now, I'm working on growing small businesses and connecting with micro influencers. Right now, as a social media manager, I have 4 different companies that are actively looking for micro influencers. So my job is to reach out to these people, collaborate with them, and see if I can connect, be that middleman between the small business and the micro influencer. So that is my goal. I would love to be like 2 years from now to say I connected 100 micro influencers with small businesses, because small business and entrepreneurship is where it's at right now. Nobody wants to work for these major corporations. And I want my hands in that pot. I want my hands in that space where I can connect people, everyday people, to kind of escape their 9 to 5 and live the lifestyle that they want to live.
And you know what? I literally just posted a question on my TikTok, on my podcast TikTok, and I said, so for all you people out here that are what I said for all you people out here that are planning or are in the works of escaping your 9 to 5, tell us how to start. Like what incomes, like what are you getting into? Like what is the tea? Because I'm trying to get, like, I don't want to be here. Like so do you have an answer? Like where did you start? How did you like start? Or did you, because you kind of started with social media, but like do you have a 9 to 5 now outside of social media like marketing?
Nope. Social media manager is my full-time job, because I do it Monday through Friday for a lot of different clients. So it's actually a full-time job. But if I would give recommendations to start, 2 different recommendations start. If you want to start being a social media manager, I would say start with your own business, your own company that you currently work for. If they have a social media page, ask them to run it. If they say they already have somebody, ask them to put you in connection with that person, and that person might be able to give you contacts for different companies. Now, if you're looking to start like being an influencer or anything like that, the first place to start is user-generated content. I would suggest Googling user-generated content. A lot of links will pop up to show you different companies that are looking for people to use their products in an everyday space. You don't have to have millions of followers. You can start off with 1 follower or no follower. They just want an everyday person using their product. That way they can use your content on their pages. That's the fastest way to start in that space. And that's the fastest way to start as a social media manager.
True. And then from that, because like videos come up on TikTok all the time about, people doing the user generated, like they will just submit it to the company. Like let's say I was using an iPhone or Fenty Beauty. Let's say I was promoting this lipstick and they would just need it and they would just use me in their advertisement. But with that, because I hear a lot of people talking about like what is it called? Like right usage. So
Yes.
how you as a eternity slash a social media manager, how are we working out the contract? What the contract's looking like? Like
Well,
what we gotta put in there? What we gotta know?
see, that's all up to between you and the brand. It depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for exposure? Are you looking for money? Because sometimes you might get exposure, but you don't get money. Sometimes you might get money, but you don't get exposure, which sounds weird, but that can happen. So it's all up to you. Whenever you pitch to a brand and saying, hey, this is something content that I made for you, I'm looking to work for you, put your expectations in there. I'm looking to work on branded monetize branded deals. Oh, I'm looking to get more exposure. So that way you set that bar and then the brand can then come back and say, okay, well, this is actually what we're looking for, or they can retort, or they can accept what you have. But either way, once they get back to you, the ball is now in your court. You're up to make the final decision. If you come into that email and pitch meeting with what you expect and they're going to retort, it's now up to you ultimately. So you don't have to then wait on them and say, I don't know what they're going to say, because you're in control.
True. So the question would be, do we ever give brands like full usage rights? Or
Yes.
we do?
Yes, there are times when you're going to give a brand your full usage right.
Okay.
Because they typically send over a contract, and I would love to read contracts. That's my thing. I'm a contract girl. So I always recommend, no matter who you are, if somebody wants you to sign something, take that extra 10 minutes to read it. And that contract is going to tell you, we have full rights to this content, this material. We can use it in any way that we see fit. Or they might say, we have rights to all of your material that involves any of our products once you sign this contract. And that's where a lot of people get hemmed up. They think, oh, I made this one video for this one company, but I'm going to reference this company in a second video and they're not paying me, so it's fine. I'll go sell this content somewhere else. You can't do that if you sign that contract.
Oh, the word. Okay. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
The
wording. You got to look at how much content they want. And if you're always confused, say if they send you like a 12-page contract and you're just genuinely confused, you can hire an attorney, or you can go back to the brand and say, okay, I just want to clarify this up. Here's what I want. I want you to use this one post. I don't know what all these 12 pages say, but here's what I want. Can we agree on this part? And then you'll be fine. You don't always have to be super smart or know all contract language. Just communicate what you want and make sure you guys are on the same page and you'll be fine.
Right, because by page 3, I'm like, so what?
Exactly.
Like, they really want me to read. Like, at this point, just sign it.
That part. A lot of people are like, you know what? I'm tired of reading. I'm just going to sign it. But that's how you get hemmed up in the long run.
Yeah, true. That's not good. Don't be like me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do that. But that is really good advice, because you are like the middleman, but also the law. So like, okay, this is what you need to look out for, and this is what you need to agree to, and make sure it's known. So I kind of like, it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Even though you're not in law, you're kind of still like in it a little bit.
Exactly.
Because you reach out to the influencers. But do you draw up the contract, or you just...
Yep, I'm the one who draws up the contracts for my small businesses too. So that's just added value that I add into like the services that I provide. And if you're looking to go down that avenue, anything that you've done previously can be experienced for another job. So don't think that, oh, because I did this and this doesn't directly relate this, I can't add value to this company. No. Just because I was an attorney before, the fact that I did contracts, I don't necessarily have to do that with social media management, but it's added value that I plug in. I say, and I can do this for you as well. So that way the price goes up every time you add value.
That's what I'm here, DJ Khaled.
Yeah. That's what I'm here. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Have any business tips that you as being like you are a micro influencer as well.
Mhm.
So being on the other side, is there any business tips that you didn't know before coming a micro influencer that you know now that you wish you knew?
The biggest tip that I can give is to just start. A
Mm,
lot of us, we say, okay, well, I can't start yet because I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this. Oh, and once I get all this list of things, then I'll start. No, you don't need any of that. Start now. The world is waiting to see your content. They're waiting to see your face. You don't need to have all of the theatrics that you think everybody else needs. That's the biggest tip that I would give. I waited way too long to start doing this. I should have been doing this 4 or 5 years ago. So if I could give any small ounce of advice, it would be to start today. I don't care if you just put a camera in front of your face and press record and start mumbling. Just get out there, get comfortable.
yeah. Would you say that the market is oversaturated for those that would say, "Oh, everybody wants to be an influencer"? Would you say that that is a thing?
I hate that term. I cannot stand that term. The market is oversaturated. What does that mean? There's a McDonald's on every corner, there's a Burger King on every corner, and there's a Wendy's on every corner, and they all sell the same thing. So how can it be oversaturated? Like, these are billion-dollar companies all selling the same thing, all on the same street, and they're all making money. So I would disagree 1,000%. I don't think any market is oversaturated because it doesn't have you. You have something different than the next person and the next person and the next person. So no, there's no market that's oversaturated.
This is true. This is true. I agree. Okay, so what is your end goal? Like, what is your end goal? Like, your desires, your plan? Like, what does that look like for you that you're working towards now?
My ultimate end goal is to just be happy. I want to be a person that can create and make money on my own time and do the things that I love to do with my friends, my family. I'm an outdoors person. I'm a plant mom. I want to be able to do all of those things and be happy. Now, what form that comes in, I will let the universe decide. I don't care. I just need to be happy, and I want to create, and I want to be with the ones that I love. So that's my end goal. I know it's not too polished, but yeah.
Whatever makes you happy. We all have different end goals. So, I mean, my end goal would be traveling, like traveling whenever. Like, I don't have to get no time approved. I could just, okay, I want to go. I can go. Like, that's my end
Exactly,
goal.
that freedom and
Yes,
flexibility to travel and explore the world. Exactly.
that's what I'm saying. I gotta live it down through because the job that I'm like interviewing for, they have unlimited PTO, and the job that I left, I had unlimited PTO. So that was
Uh-huh.
me like exploring. I say, yeah, no. If a job say, if a job say to me, I have to limited PTO, I'm saying, okay, no, this is not for me. I can't.
Exactly.
I can't.
Exactly. And I have to be remote. I don't think I'll ever go back into an office
That's what
because
I'm saying.
I like to travel. Like you said, if I just want to be somewhere tomorrow and still get my work done, I want the autonomy to do that.
That's what I'm saying. I left an office job and I was like, yeah, no, I want to be remote because of that reason. I was like, I want to work from anywhere. Like, if I want to go on a trip, like, I can go on a trip and not necessarily have to take the days off if I don't want to, but I could still be anywhere. Just for that, I could be anywhere still working. Like, what? Job?
Exactly. My value of work is not determined by the location that I'm in. Like, that doesn't
That's
make
what I'm
any sense.
saying. It's not clicking for me. They don't talk about when it comes to being and becoming an influencer.
How much work it takes. A lot of people think that, like, oh, that's cute. I want to like make silly videos in front of my phone all day too. No, it really does mean you're making silly videos in front of your phone all day. Like, a typical content creating day for me is going to last between like 9 to 10 hours. You get to work your 9 to 5, 8 hours and be done with it. No. I have to create the content. After that, it's all, you're constantly searching social media in a different way. You're not going to ever scroll the same way because you're looking for content. You're consciously looking at transitions, trends, and things like that the average consumer of TikTok or Instagram is just looking at it for leisure and entertainment. So everybody else's entertainment becomes your job.
Girl, this is so true. And then don't even talk about the content that you create and you have to edit, and so
Yep.
it sits there.
I didn't even talk about editing. We can also talk about the content that you create, you edit, and then you hate after. So you never post it.
That's
We could
another.
talk about that for days.
That's another thing. Mine right now is I'll create it, it'll sit there, I have to edit it, and it'll take forever. And I'm like, girl, this video is 2 months old.
It's crazy. And then you get so frustrated with yourself,
That's
and
what I'm saying.
it's
Like,
a lot.
it really is, but I definitely agree that I will agree with that because it really takes a lot of work to consistently, continually to be a influencer because you're really just searching social media to get inspiration to create. It's like a cycle.
It's a cycle. Every Monday I'm on my phone, and like my friends will call me or they'll FaceTime me. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm working." And they're like, "But you're on your phone." I'm like, "That's work. I'm working. I'm always working." Or I'll be sitting at dinner and scrolling. They're like, "Talk to me." And it's like, I want to, but I have to post right now because this is a specific time I plan to post. So
That's what I'm saying. And that's another thing too, like engagement, interact. Child, we could
Oh
go
yeah. We
days.
can talk about engagement for days. Engagement alone is going to take you like 2 hours a day.
That's what
It's
I'm saying. It's like I don't feel like, but I got to. Oh, love your skirt, girl.
But you get compensated accordingly too. So it's like,
It has its ups and downs. It has its ups and downs. And
like
so my last question would be, do you feel as though college, since you went to college, undergrad, and graduate school, do you feel as though college was worth paying in full almost?
I think it depends. If you have a clear set on what you want to do and you needed a degree to do it, then I would say college would be worth it. If you research your career path and you realize there are people in that space who currently do not have a degree, I would say it wouldn't be necessarily worth it for you. Contact those people, build those relationships, see how they were able to get in that space without one, save some money, and just do it the way they did it. I think that going to college numbers are going to go down in these coming years because people realize they can create their own avenue without somebody telling them what to do. And like, honestly, college mainly just provides you with the books. If you can go out there, buy the books, read the content yourself, you'll be fine.
Honestly, do it. It makes the connections literally.
Yeah.
I wish someone would have told me this like 4 years ago. I'm like, especially me, because I feel like, yes, business, depending on what avenue you want to go on, you need a degree somewhat, but not really. I could have finessed this. Oh my God.
A lot of college majors you need experience versus degrees for, which is the craziest thing.
Right, because when you're applying to jobs, it literally says 2 years of experience, but this is entry level though. I'm like, but what does the degree count for? Nothing.
Exactly.
That's how
exactly. And it's not like you go into the job interview and they're like, "Show me your degree." And they're like, "Oh,
right,
I got it right here."
Right. Like, you don't want to see it? You sure you don't want to see? I have it for you. You sure you don't want to see this degree? No, honestly, that's how it be. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. Sure. I will list all her information, guys, below, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.